A week ago, my Hebrew sister and my Hebrew brother, Mr. Real Talk, and I were in Washington, D.C., and we went to their border of D.C., the boundary stones, and we laid our own stone, a witness stone. And if you haven't seen that video, I recommend you watch that one first before this one. And that video is entitled The Witness Stone, Prophecy Fulfilled at the Boundary. Our stone was so little compared to the elite's giant rock, and it reminded me of David and Goliath and how he took down the giant with one small stone. And so I've been researching, and what I found about David and Goliath is so prophetic, but you have to break it down. So let's begin by reading the story of David and Goliath. 1 Samuel 17, verses 2 through 3. Saul and the men of Israel were gathered and camped in the valley of Elah, and drew up in battle formation to meet the Philistines. The Philistines stood on a mountain on one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side with the valley between them. 1 Samuel 17, verses 4 through 7. A champion named Goliath from Gath came out from the camp of the Philistines. He was 6 cubits and a span tall. He wore a coat of mail that weighed 5,000 shekels of bronze, and on his head was a helmet of bronze. He had bronze armor on his legs, and a bronze javelin slung between his shoulders. The shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and the spearhead weighed 600 shekels of iron, and his shield bearer went before him. 1 Samuel 17, verses 8 through 11. Goliath shouted to the Israelite army, "Why have you come out to fight? I am a Philistine, and you are servants of Saul. Choose one man to fight me. If he can kill me, we will become your servants. But if I kill him, you will be our servants." Then Goliath said, "I defy the armies of Israel today. Send me a man, and let's fight." When Saul and all Israel heard these words, they were terrified and deeply afraid. 1 Samuel 17, verses 32 through 37. David said to Saul, "Don't let anyone lose courage because of this giant. I will go and fight him." But Saul replied, "You can't fight this Philistine. You're only a boy, and he has been a warrior since his youth." David said, "I've been taking care of my father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and took a lamb, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the lamb. If it attacked me, I caught it by the beard and killed it. I have killed both lions and bears, and this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God. Yah, who rescued me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, will rescue me from this Philistine." So Saul said to David, "Go, and may Yah be with you." 1 Samuel 17, verses 40 through 46. David picked up his staff, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, and put them in his shepherd's bag. With sling in hand, he went to face the Philistine. Goliath, with his shield bearer in front, came close to David. When he looked at David, he sneered because David was young, ruddy, and of fair countenance. Goliath said, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" And he cursed David by his gods. He said, "Come here, and I'll feed your flesh to the birds and wild animals." But David replied, "You come to me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come to you in the name of Yah of hosts, the God of Israel's armies, who you have defied." 1 Samuel 17, verses 47 through 49. Then all the assembly will know that Yah saves, not with sword and spear, for the battle belongs to Yah, and he will give you into our hands. When the Philistine arose and came near to meet David, David quickly ran toward the battle line to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand into his bag and took out a stone, slung it, and struck the Philistine on his forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell on his face to the ground. 1 Samuel 17, verses 50 through 51. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. He struck the Philistine and killed him, though there was no sword in David's hand. Then David ran and stood over the Philistine, took his sword, drew it out of its sheath, and killed him. He cut off his head with it. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled. So now, let's do detective work and break this story down. And let's begin with the giant, Goliath of Gath. The name Goliath is not Hebrew in origin, but Philistine, and scholars connect it to the name Alades, or a root meaning exile or sojourner, from the root Galah, which means to uncover, lay bare, go into exile. So Goliath carries the sense of the uncovered one, the exiled one, the one stripped bare. And Gath means literally winepress. It comes from the Hebrew root meaning to press, to tread out grapes. And a winepress is a place of crushing, judgment, and squeezing out what is hidden inside. So Goliath of Gath literally can mean a giant who represents being laid bare and crushed in Yah's winepress of judgment. And Goliath is wearing a coat of mail. And in Hebrew, that word is shiryah kaskethis. Literally a layered covering like scales of a serpent. Goliath himself is the serpent seed, a living picture of the same adversary who first opposed Yah in Eden. He stood in the valley of Elah, a place lined with tamarind trees, ordinary, natural, yet chosen as the stage for Yah's miracle. And David, young and handsome, vibrant, alive, full of Yah's favor, stepped forward. No sword, no armor, only 5 smooth stones. And the stones represents the first 5 books of the Torah, the foundation of Yah's law, wisdom, and authority. And a sling. And the sling itself reminds me of what was told in Ezekiel 37 verses 16 through 17. And you, son of man, take for yourself 1 stick and write on it, for Judah and the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write on it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and all the house of Israel, his companions. Then join them one to another into 1 stick, so that they become one in your hand. And most importantly, David came in the name of Yah of hosts. He declared, "You come to me with sword and with spear and with a shield, but I come to you only in the name of Yah of hosts, whom you have defied." 1 stone flew and sank into Goliath's forehead, the seat of pride, authority, and defiance. He was not marked on the forehead with the Et, the Aleph Tav, like the remnant. He was unprotected, and the giant fell. This was more than a physical strike, it was prophetic. Genesis 3:15 speaks of crushing the serpent's head, and we read that in Genesis 3 verse 15. "I will put hostility between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." And in the book of Daniel, it talks about a stone cut without hands, smashing the statue's feet, shattering the whole system, and growing into a mountain that fills the earth. Daniel 2, verses 34 through 35. As you watched, a stone was cut out, but not by human hands. It struck the image on its feet of iron and clay, and shattered them. Then the iron, clay, bronze, silver, and gold were crushed together, and became like chaff on a threshing floor in the summer. The wind carried them away, so no trace was found. But the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. David's stone follows the same principle, small, Yah-directed, striking the authority of rebellion at its center. As David held that joined slingshot of the remnant together as they shot the Torah in the name of Yah, it struck with precision, perfection, unstoppable against the serpent seed. And just as the Valley of Elah was ordinary, but lined with tabernacle trees, our witness stone in D.C. Rock Creek Park mirrors that. The park looks ordinary to human eyes, but Yah chose it as the place to act in covenant authority, piercing the head of the serpent seed in the land. The small stone, the small act, carries the same force as David's sling and stone. We are the slingshot, coming in the authority and name of Yah, hurling out his Torah at the giant. And the giant didn't see it coming. His head is marked, and the victory belongs to Yah. We laid the stone. Now we wait for the thud.